Tanjiro Kamado supports his family by selling charcoal in the nearby town while they live a happy and peaceful life in the snowy mountains. His younger sister, Nezuko Kamado, who has started to change into a demon herself, is the only member of his family left standing when he returns home one day to find his entire family dead as a result of a demon attack. Tanjiro makes every effort to protect Nezuko as demon slayer Ju Tomioka threatens to kill her. He is astounded by Nezuko's ability to repress her demonic urges and defend her brother, and he is also encouraged by Tanjiro's potential. As a result, he decides to spare her life and instructs him to seek out Sakonji Urokodaki on Mount Sajiri. Before leaving, Tanjiro and Nezuko bury their family. When Tanjiro and Nezuko come across a demon living in a nearby temple, they are on their way to empty Sajiri. They are able to restrain it, but he is reluctant to kill it, so he lets it burn in the sun instead. He encounters Sakonji Urokodaki at this point, who reprimands him for his lack of resolve and informs him of what will occur if Nezuko decides to kill a human. After giving Nezuko some time to rest, Urokodaki challenges Tanjiro to ascend and descend the treacherous and trap-filled empty Sajiri to demonstrate his mettle. Tanjiro completes the task successfully, and after remembering the letter from Ju asking him to teach Tanjiro how to fight demons, Urokodaki accepts him as a pupil. Tanjiro is instructed by Urokodaki to join the Demon Slayer Corps and is informed that he must succeed in final selection in order to be accepted as one. On the mountain, Tanjiro endures a grueling 6 months of training that includes teaching him how to use the total concentration and water-breathing techniques. Urokodaki instructs Tanjiro to slice a large boulder as his last assignment before allowing him to compete in final selection. After another 6 months of doing nothing, he begins to lose hope when he is unexpectedly attacked by Sabito, another swordsman, who berates him for his flaws. Tanjiro is further trained by another swordsman, Makomo, who also reveals that they were both once Urokodaki's pupils. After another 6 months of training, Tanjiro and Sabito engage in one final fight, during which Tanjiro strikes Sabito. It is revealed that his slash had actually split the boulder in half as the two congratulate him on his accomplishment and disappear in a haze. Tanjiro's accomplishment of slicing the boulder astounds Urokodaki, who congratulates him and urges him to return from final selection alive. He arrives with a group of people who share his desire to become demon slayers, and they discover they must endure 7 days among the demons imprisoned in the mountains. He runs into the hand demon during one of his battles, a huge, hideous demon who, according to what he learns, kills all of Urokodaki's children, including Sabito and Makomo. Tanjiro manages to overcome his defenses and successfully slice the demon's neck, with his water breathing despite the demon nearly overwhelming him and keeping its neck protected. The hand demon starts to fade away after being beheaded, and sensing a scent of sadness coming from the demon, Tanjiro prays for it to be reborn in a better life, also allowing the souls of Urokodaki's past students to be put to rest. Tanjiro survives the 7 days of final selection and finds only 3 others have made it as well. After receiving the ores needed to make their swords, Tanjiro returns to Urokodaki's, where he reunites with him and Nezuko. A swordsmith named Haganazuka arrives shortly afterward to hand Tanjiro his sword, surprising everyone that it turns black. His Kazugai Crow soon appears to provide him with the details for his first mission, to investigate a town where young girls are being taken. Tanjiro visits the village in the northwest to look into the case of the missing young girls. There he meets Kazumi, whose recently disappeared fiancé has left him in despair. Before intervening to save her, Tanjiro waits until night, when the demon makes its move against its next victim. He learns that the swamp demon can make puddles, which enables him to see his clones appear from anywhere in addition to having 2 more copies of himself. Tanjiro is overwhelmed while attempting to kill the demons and protect Kazumi and the girl at the same time. Nezuko steps in and surprises the swamp demon by revealing that a demon is with him. Nezuko stands guard over Kazumi and the girl while Tanjiro battles the swamp demon and his clones. Tanjiro leaps into the swamp where 2 of the clones are hiding and uses his whirlpool form to vanquish them. Until Tanjiro shows up and corners the last clone, Nezuko is engaged in combat with it. He inquires of the demon about Muzan Kibutsuji, the original demon who has the power to transform mortals into demons, but the demon is too terrified of Muzan to divulge any information. Before heading to his next assignment in Tokyo's Asakusa, Tanjiro comforts Kazumi over the loss of his lost fiancée after dispatching the demon. As soon as he gets there, Tanjiro notices a scent that was in his home the day his family was murdered. He follows it to a man who is actually Muzan himself in disguise, along with his wife and daughter. Muzan transforms a bystander into a demon in the crowd as he is being confronted to get away. Tanjiro fights the demon as Muzan flees, but not before hearing his promise to look for him once more. Muzan assigns 2 demons, Susumaru and Yahaba, to find and kill the feared adversary from his past who had donned the identical Hanafuda earrings he had seen on Tanjiro. Tamayo, a demon, and Yashiro, a boy, rescue Tanjiro in the meantime. Tamayo reveals that she is a doctor with plans to overthrow Muzan as well. The strange Yashiro brings Tanjiro and Nezuko to Tamayo's place, where they have a conversation in which she reveals that she might be able to develop a treatment that will prevent people from turning into demons, but she will need blood samples from demons Muzan has had direct contact with in order to do so. When the 4 are suddenly attacked by a horde of Tamaris under the control of Susumaru and Yahaba, Tanjiro decides to accept this task. Susumaru destroys the hidden house with the help of her potent Tamari, revealing that she and Yahaba are members of the 12 Kazuki, a group of formidable demons who work closely with Muzan. She uses one of her Tamari to cut off Yashiro's head, and as he regenerates, Tanjiro finds it difficult to avoid them because they swerve in directions that are physically impossible and are challenging to slash. In order to telekinetically control Susumaru's Tamari, Yahaba is using arrows, which Yashiro assists him in spotting. Yahaba is attacked by Nezuko, but the siblings are forced to switch opponents. Yashiro joins the fight and uses his blood demon art to defeat Susumaru. Tanjiro is initially defeated by Yahaba by changing his course as he approaches, and Nezuko's leg is severed by a Tamari. However, Tanjiro remembers his training and, despite being exhausted, unleashes a combination of forms to close the gap and behead the demon by utilizing Yahaba's arrow's direction in his favor. Yahaba attempts to kill Tanjiro once more as he is dying by shooting him with his arrows so that he will fall to his death. Tanjiro must use subsequent forms to lessen his effect, but he manages to stay alive despite being worn out. Nezuko returns to the fight after Tamayo gives her a healing serum, becoming stronger and capable of competing with Susumaru's strength. Susumaru accidentally says Muzan's name as a result of Tamayo using her blood demon art to lower her alertness, which sets off a curse that kills her. Tamayo notices both demons do not have numbers on their eyes after looking at Susumaru's eyeball, and concluding they are not among the 12 Kazuki. Tanjiro bemoans Muzan's cruel treatment of the demons, lying to them and taking advantage of their plight. Despite the fact that Kadaki had hypnotized Nezuko into believing that humans are to be protected, Tamayo bursts into tears of gratitude when she realizes that Yashiro and Nezuko are in fact humans. Tanjiro runs into another demon slayer from Final Selection who is pressuring a woman into marriage, as the siblings head off on their next mission. Tanjiro prevents Zenitsu Agatsuma, the demon slayer, from disturbing the woman. He admits that because of his frailty and lack of resolve, he had hoped to perish during Final Selection. Tanjiro's crow leads the two to their next destination, a sizable woodland mansion, where they encounter 2 kids named Shoichi and Teruko who inform them that a demon is present and has abducted their brother. The children unexpectedly enter as well, and he enters with Zenitsu who is reluctantly leaving Nezuko's box outside. The supernatural rooms then separate them as they move to the rhythm of a drum. The strongest demon in the house is detected by Tanjiro and Teruko as a large one. Zenitsu and Shoichi come across another demon slayer wearing a boar mask as they search for a way out. Tanjiro sees the demon perform blood demon art by pacing the space while carrying drums inside his body. The pig-headed demon slayer enters at that precise moment and prepares to strike. The blood demon art of the demon repels the rogue slayer's attack. He challenges Tanjiro and comes dangerously close to attacking him when the demon uses another drum in his body to demonstrate its capacity to deliver potent, invisible slashes. Tanjiro locates the oldest brother of the siblings, Kiyoshi, after being transported to another room. Another demon corners Zenitsu and Shoichi, and Zenitsu passes out in terror. However, he uses his thunder breathing while dozing off to instantly dispatch the demon. Upon seeing the demon's corpse on the ground and regaining composure, Zenitsu thinks Shoichi was the one who stood up for him and goes back to being terrified. A demon is also encountered by the rogue Slayer, who kills it right away. In order to reclaim his position in the 12 Kazuki after Muzan deposed him, the drum demon Kyogai says he wants to kill the eldest brother for his blood. After leading the siblings to safety, Tanjiro engages Kyogai in combat and starts to get used to the unique movements of his drums. Even though he is still recovering, he is inspired to fight by his memories of Urokadaki's lessons on the adaptability of water breathing. Tanjiro's refusal to submit infuriates Kyogai, who then starts to attack erratically. He recalls his past as a drummer and composer, a pastime that was derided and ridiculed by others. The memories have angered him, and he attacks Tanjiro more violently. Despite his wounds, Tanjiro manages to reach Kyogai and successfully decapitate him. He hears Tanjiro acknowledge his blood demon art as he passes away but adds that he cannot be pardoned for his murders. As he passes away, Kyogai sobs because he was moved by his words and because someone has now acknowledged his drumming. He collects a vial of Kyogai's blood and gives the sample to Tamayo's cat, who then vanishes. Taking the kids outside, he sees Zenitsu, who had been expelled from the house earlier for defending Nezuko's box, being kicked by the mischievous demon Slayer. He admits that even though he had known Tanjiro was carrying a demon the entire time, he had assumed that since he was so kind, there had to be a good reason for it. Tanjiro fights to protect him from the rogue swordsman. Despite the taboo against demon slayers harming one another, Tanjiro breaks the rebel slayer's ribs in an attempt to stop him, but the rebel slayer fights back. Tanjiro is forced to retaliate by the slayer as he fights like an animal. Eventually, he headbutts him, causing the boar mask to come off. The slayer reveals himself as Inosuke Hashibara, despite having a powerful and muscular body, showing a feminine and delicate face. He passes out, but later awakens to find the others burying the dead inside the mansion. Then Tanjiro's Kasugai crow tells them to start going down the mountain. The three say goodbye to the siblings and head to a house, where an elderly woman inside helps them relax and recover. Zenitsu questions Tanjiro about his motivation for carrying a demon, and Inosuke explains that the only reason he participated in final selection was to test out his skills on demons. Meanwhile, Nezuko unexpectedly emerges from the box herself. He chases Tanjiro without giving him the chance to explain why he is upset with him for having a girl with him all this time. That concludes part 1. Don't forget to subscribe to catch part 2.